Hello, everybody. Coming to you from the Great White North, Toronto specifically. I am one of your hosts, Scott.
Hello, Scott. I'm one of the other hosts. I'm Andy, coming to you from the United Kingdom.
Good to see you again. We welcome everybody to another episode of Tea and Timbits, where we talk about global perspectives on business development to help you prosper. We're going to do another topic about mindset today. We're going to get into how to be helpful by asking for help. Before we do that, inspire us, Andy. What's your story today?
Well, I have another story from the new world, the new world I'm working in.
You're going to have to stop calling it New World, but carry on.
I know. It's not that new anymore, but I keep referring to it as that. Having done the old one for 20 years, I'm not quite sure I can call this one.
You've got some runway.
It's my world. It's my world. It's an industry that's new to me, but it's going quite well, and I've got a few stories to share. This particular one, I was doing some work with an I'll describe them as an old 80s metal band who had some success during the new wave of British heavy metal, which some listeners may be familiar with.
New wave. Okay, all right. I'm clearly in zone. Keep going.
Anyway, so during the 1980s, they had some success in the normal charts as well as on tours, and this has since faded significantly for them. And through some connections I had, they got in touch with me. Wanted to know if I might be able to bring a bit of new life into them and help them in the new world. They were, not part of a record label. They didn't have any agreements in place, but they were still doing the odd tour here and there in these smaller venues, and wanted to see what else they could do to grow their business and turn their band into a business, I suppose. They hadn't really figured out the whole digital world, but had self-published many songs on Spotify, Apple Music, and so on, and weren't getting many plays, therefore weren't making much money from it. So the only revenue they were having was really from the tours. We came up with an idea that what we would do is we would do a limited release vinyl, both to capture some of the classic style and the classic way of listening to music, but also as a kind of limited release way of reintroducing some of that older music to people who may not have heard of them before, but also old fans who had. So we commissioned an artist to do some specific new artwork for them, and we managed to get the vinyl pressed, because incidentally the vinyl industry is actually booming again. It's become really big, and so what we did is we made some agreements with some local record stores across the UK, where they were doing exclusive listens and purchase opportunities. Shared this across social media, across their social media, and then some direct communication to invite the key fans and associated people to it. It was a big success. It really helped to boost not only their brand as it was previously, but also it's boosted their digital listens as well, and they're now getting a lot more success and invitations to join other bigger tours, and so ultimately it's gone quite well. How does this relate to sales and marketing? Does it relate to what we're talking about? It's about being authentic. It's about embracing your brand, being your authentic self, not trying to step away, not trying to adapt yourself to a new market, not trying to change what made you famous, but actually embracing what it is that you're good at, doubling down on the things that you're really good at, and then taking that out, because your audience and your market are very keen on what you're doing. And you just need to, as we spoke about last week, you need to find that market. You need to become aware in your mindset that you have an abundant market. You just need to figure out how to find them, how to engage with them in the right way. And so this really was a lesson in being authentic, having the right mindset, and sticking to it, and generating a success that they had the capability of doing. They just needed a guide to help them on that journey.
So what I really like about that is, and I don't mean to sort of take anything away from the success in that story, but the reason that the vinyl industry is doing well now is that
Mm.
that idea is not necessarily a novel one.
No,
It's
exactly. Yeah.
for them, but I think a lot of times in business we try to come up with something new and
Correct.
really
Correct. Yeah.
on what are we going to do that's going to surprise and delight and
Yeah.
and whatnot. And sometimes it is absolutely acceptable, in fact, preferred and more likely to succeed to leverage something tried, tested, and true.
Exactly. Go back to your roots. Do what it is that made you successful in the first place. People get the companies, people, everybody, they get carried away with going, oh, there's success. Let's add this, let's add this, let's add this. And then when things stop working or the market changes, it's very hard to find the way back to figure out what it is that went wrong. But go back to what it was that you're good at, what people,
What are your competitors
joined
doing?
you for in the first place.
What,
Yeah.
what what else is what is somebody else doing that's a really good idea? And just because they had the idea first does not mean you need to use it
Exactly.
or you can't use it yourself.
That's right. That's
I mean,
right.
I am guilty of that myself. I'm like, oh, nuts! They thought of it. I can't do it. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no. It's working for a reason, and make it your own. Don't just rip it
Yeah,
off
absolutely. Of course. Yeah.
Verbatim. But I think that's an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue into our topic for today, being helpful and asking for help. And I think this is
Oh, well
recognizing
done. Yeah.
when there is a need for that help and something else that could be done better than the way that you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
What are you hoping people take away from this conversation, Andy?
Being bold and brave enough to put their hand up and say that they need help sometimes.
And I'll just compliment that with saying being humble and practicing humility and realizing when you need to tuck your ego away and say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this on my own.
Yeah.
So yes, it takes courage and boldness. I also think it takes some you need to be humble and practice humility. So what are we talking about? What do we mean? Be helpful and ask for help. What does that mean to you? I've got some thoughts. You go first, Andy.
Yeah, I think in the world of business as well as in your personal life, it's so important to, as we said, be humble and be bold and brave and be willing to ask for help, but also be willing to give help and to offer help and to see when people need it. Having the mindset that that you have the answer to everything, that everything is perfect in your world and that you can't help anybody else because you're far too busy. That's not a good mindset, but it's a mindset that a lot of people find themselves in. And it's really important to be willing to go, this person appears to be struggling. I can give them some of my time. I can help them. I can guide them along the way. I can offer some assistance. And I think that's an important thing as well, is that mindset, because what we mustn't forget is that we actually grow and we become better when we teach others. That's a great way of practicing something, because it forces us to think about what we're doing and how we're doing something in a way that someone else can understand. And so by teaching someone else something, by helping someone who's in need, by guiding someone on a certain journey, you are helping yourself as well. So not saying that it needs to be from a selfish point of view, but there is a personal benefit from having the mindset that you're willing to help someone, as well as putting your hand up and saying, I need help.
I think what goes around comes around, and I think that's a great message. I think, to play devil's advocate there, you got to be careful about being overbearing or barging in, feeling like you know better. And I think
it can go too far the other way. Yeah.
In a business sales perspective, in particular, it's really easy to fall into the trap of telling, not teaching.
I
right?
see. Yeah.
And you can disguise it as being helpful when it's not at all. So when you first made the point, I was like, oh wow, like that would be really powerful if you went into a sales opportunity or a customer situation and told them you needed their help. I need you to help me, get the clarity that we're all seeking here. I need you to help me understand the situation so that we can, lift this tide together. And I think there's a lot of power in in practicing this in that moment as well.
Interesting perspective. Yeah, I'm not sure how many customers would feel like that you book an appointment to go and see them, and they go, "Yeah, so I need your help."
Well, good point. But I think you can say, so you frame it in the process and the journey and the destination that you
Correct. Yeah.
have confidence in taking them to,
Hmm.
but that it needs to be a teamwork. And I need
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
to help me get there. I think I don't think it works necessarily for all businesses, especially if you're selling a product or something like that necessarily. But anyway, that's where my mind went when you started your point.
But it is a valid point. And it is a good addition, because to approach a customer from the perspective, as we always advocate, that we don't know if we're able to help you, but we want to go on a journey to to find out if there's a mutual reason to continue working together. Adding in that element of but I need you to help me to find that to go on that journey is a good addition to clear it up. Yeah.
I mean, I think coming back to sort of the core concept of this topic, as a service-based business, we are selling our time, and it is absolutely like the number one priority that we emphasize within our own organization, that we cannot afford for you not to ask for help. It is a business imperative that to be efficient and as profitable as we want to be, we need people not to waste time. Now, there's learning and there's professional development and there's problem solving and there's troubleshooting, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about spinning your wheels and recognizing when you're out of your depth, and knowing that there's somebody else that can enable you. There's a trap to that, which is over indexing, and well, that person's all like, there's always senior people that can do it better than you can. So appropriately making sure that you get their support, refine your own skills, offer it to other people when you can. I love that addition to the whole equation.
I think there's always a challenge for salespeople in particular, to be willing to say, because they're often told, oh, you just need to make more phone calls, or you need to, get in touch with more customers, or you need to close more deals. And that's where it ends. And very often they just go, okay, and sometimes go, well, that's going to be difficult. But there's very rarely does it come up with, and how would you like me to do that? How can I do that? I don't know how to make more calls. I don't know how to be more efficient with the calls that I'm making. I don't know how to be more efficient with what I'm doing. It's very rare that will happen. And I think it's important as a leader that you create an environment where they feel safe to be able to do that, to be able to put up their hands and say that, rather than just saying, you need to make more calls. You need to start picking up the phone. You need to be,
so the
closing more deals. You need to.
Exactly. The culture and the ecosystem to allow for it to happen comfortably is
that's right.
Yeah, I love it.
And that it's not a bad thing to put your hand up and say, I don't know how to make cold calls. I don't know how to close a deal. I'm very good at opening doors, but I'm not very good at closing them. I'm very good at negotiations, but I'm not very good at contract writing, whatever it may be. But it's kind of expected that all salespeople are good at everything, and that's not the case. The people who are very good at account management are often very, very bad at new business development, and vice versa. So trying to put that hat on all salespeople and expecting them all to be able to be good at all of that is very challenging, because junior salespeople really struggle with saying that they can't do it. And it's very rare, I've noticed in a lot of companies, that they actually have training programs or things in place to help people to learn those things. It's sort of just expected that they learn it from podcasts like this and from other things. And that can be very difficult.
I think the balance here also is creating that ecosystem where it is expected that you ask for help, providing the safety net to allow for people to feel comfortable asking for help, and doing that in a way that supports their exploration, but emphasizes the fact that it's for efficiency. I think it can sometimes be a fine line, but I think these are
Mm.
good sort of thoughts and reflections for enabling that.
Yeah.
Great.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Very good chat about being helpful by asking for help and being helpful by offering help when you see that it can add value. We're going to do one more conversation about mindset, and I think it's going to kind of emphasize one of the underlying themes here that we've been going on about for the past few weeks, and that's just about being nimble in these situations, and sort of an adaptive approach to that mindset and these scenarios. So I look forward to that conversation in our next episode.
Looking forward to it as well, Scott. Thank you very much for today and for the series so far.
Indeed. Take a look at all we have to offer at teaandtimbits.com. See you on the next one, Andy. Thanks again.
Thank you.